Got it. Rolling. Rolling this one too. You wanna sit here? So you can keep this point of view. So bro, man. First question is about pretty much existential stuff. I want to tell you right now.
Now,
what's up?
When you say we're already rolling, when you say existential, like, are we talking about French philosophy? You know, like no God. What is existential? Like, is it the struggle to identify our existence?
Just agree, yeah. You can
Yeah,
attribute it.
like to your point of view, basically. But I'm gonna start with what is an artist?
Mm-hmm. An artist is a human being. You know what I mean? Like, I feel. See, I'm not special, right? I just decided to have a calling, right? I think anybody can do music. You know, it's like the song like by the Beatles, "All You Need Is Love."
Right.
Anybody can do it. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. But I feel like art is an opportunity to have a communion with something greater, you know? And for me, you know what music has become for me? I don't care how famous I become anymore. You know what I mean? Like, writing a song for me is an experience of bringing something in my unconscious to light, putting words to it, identifying it. You know, it's like a science. You know, you discover things when you songwrite. You know what I mean? There's things about myself that I didn't know until I wrote a specific song.
Right.
And I was like, you know, sometimes you write songs and you're crying. Sometimes you're laughing. Sometimes you just feel inspired by a girl. Sometimes you had amazing sex and you're gonna write a song about sex, you know, like, but I think the point of what I'm really trying to say, other than I'm not special, is that whatever is greater, you know, me being able to practice hours at a time, you know, or sit to perfect my craft, I open myself up for this greater, you know what I mean, this greater entity, you know, to create music through me, right? And I'm not writing the songs,
right?
Something else is. I'm just like playing with it. I'm just messing around with chords, you know, and then something happens, you know, and then it comes out really cool, right? And I can't be like, I wrote that song, like that was me. Like I just finished saying that I'm learning something while I'm writing these songs. Like that's the biggest thing. It's not, you know, it's not like I look at a song and I'm like, well, this is an E major, so I'm gonna double the fifth. You know, like I don't look at music like that. It's, you know, for me it's just, it just happens, right? As a matter of fact, I'll tell you, as a songwriter, you don't write to live. I have my 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Right now, with my girlfriend, we're about to open up a store online. You know, we're gonna start selling clothes, and like there's a struggle, like a hustle everywhere. You know.
I was just gonna ask you. That's another like one of the questions. It's related about success and failure. What I wanted to touch base.
Yeah, like I just summoned her right now. Like I swear to God, like that.
No, I just wanted to ask you about failure. What does failure mean to you? It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Failure is an opportunity to be one step closer to success.
Okay.
I fuck with that.
You saw how the phone just after saying that? that's what, you know what I mean? Like, we're not strangers, you know what I mean? And in the times in which we've crossed paths has either been by coincidence or you guys are working on a project. I'm like, let's go. I don't think there's ever been a time you guys have hit me up that you've been like, go working on a project last minute, whatever, and then I'm not like, let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At my 9 to 5, we had a meeting today, like 6, it was like from 6 to 6:30. And I was like, damn, we agreed on a specific time, but right now it's 10 p.m. and we're doing it. Let's go. You know? So, like, a failure happens, you better hope so. If a failure is happening, you're good. Good. You're one step closer. You like, if I'm editing a song right now, right? The first thing before I start, let's say I have the frequential, you know, I have the frequencies in front of me, the chart of the frequencies in front of me. I'm like, okay, 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, right? And I have, let's say for example, a guitar, bam, the guitar's playing, and I'm like, okay, I thin out the, you know, the, I don't even know what to call it, the wave, right? The wave, thin out the wave, and I'm like, and I'm looking for a specific, you hear the acoustic traveling on the guitar? I'm gonna eliminate frequencies before I accent frequencies. You know what I mean? So I think really living out that mistakes are an opportunity. And mistakes is a sign that you're one step closer to succeeding. Yeah.
So what's success?
I mean, that question that's a universal question. You know, I think success is really deep because me making it in the music business to the level that I can say success, really success, you know, I see it as visualizing a type of life or visualizing your life at a specific level, and success is reaching it, right? But I wanna make sure that it's clear that, you know, where I stand with the music and what I'm doing with the music is not the only thing that determines what success is. That's probably like 30%, you know, because I think being able to have relationships, you know what I mean, being able to have a state of mind in which you could treat the people that are around you, everyone that is around you, you treat with love and kindness. You know, even if you have beef, right? Like yesterday, for example, I was with my girl and we were going through a drive-through, and the girl that was in the drive-through was like super rude.
Yo, that happened to me in a subway.
Yeah. And like to my girl.
Okay.
You know, and I'm like, okay, I'm like super macho now. Like I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stand up for you right now. So we go to the window, and I'm like receiving the food from the girl that obviously doesn't care about me, like at that point in time, with a closed perspective. And I'm like, okay, failure, what failure would look like in that moment is for me to tell her something ugly. It's for me like, hey, you know what? You have really horrible customer service. You gotta treat me better or whatever. And finally, when I called for her, I was like, I want to speak to the girl who took the order, right? And the other girl's like, no, it wasn't me. I was like, okay, well, find me who it was because I want to speak to them. And she was like, okay. And when the girl finally came, and I'm here in my macho mindset, and I looked her in the eyes, I didn't feel like making her feel bad, right? That was a successful moment because the transmutation of the emotion, right? Now I had my girl there, and now I had her, and people were gonna have to take responsibility, right? As small as it was, I wanted to make it big in that moment, and I was like, you're gonna treat my people good.
Okay.
So when the girl's standing in front of me, I look her in the eyes, and I'm like, hey, with this tone right here, hey, is everything okay? Looking her in the eyes, and she's like, yeah, I'm fine. And I was like, okay, because I don't know, I felt like a second ago maybe I said something to offend you, and I just wanted to know what it was. She's like, no, I'm on a timer. I've never worked at a McDonald's before. I've never worked at a Burger King. I never worked at a Taco Bell. I don't know about a timer. You know what I mean? So it was interesting in that moment that I was learning something. You know what I mean? Because my opinion about the way she was treating my girl could only be supported by the fact that I was ignorant to the fact that there was a timer on her end.
So it was like an understanding from you, of course.
Exactly. And in that moment, I didn't tell her I didn't tell her you have horrible customer service. You're a piece of shit.
Right.
I'm gonna talk to your manager. All those things I've heard before.
Yeah, but that's hard. That's hard.
All those things I've heard before.
To keep it cool in situations like that.
Well, that's the key. So what's the key right now? I don't even remember what the question was.
It's success. That's why it was a successful story. Definitely.
What compassion, right?
Compassion.
The only reason I knew not to tell that girl those 3 things is because I've been in a situation in which I've been told those things, right? Being a part of the hustle service industry, where Miami service industry is #1 if you want to fill your pockets up, right? So, you know, I've had people just have the intention of wanting me to lose my job because they took something personally. They needed to fight to the end, right? And when I found myself in that situation where I understood something in the middle of this discussion with this girl, I was like, and then the final thing was like, well, you know what? I hope you have a good night, you know, and I hope maybe that your shift is over soon, and I hope you get like a vacation or something. And she smiled. So like, I feel like the lesson, yo, El Gallo. Oh, bro, I'm sorry. I had to just take a second and give a shout out to Luis, bro. I'm gonna call you, bro. I'm gonna call you. If you're the one that's on here right now, bro, I love you, bro. This guy's an amazing drummer. Amazing drummer. You don't know. I have to do something with him soon. So you have the book The Art of War. It says the greatest general is the one that can win a war without needing to fight.
Yeah.
That's success.
Legendary quote.
Success right there. You know? Like, success for me, I think ultimate success for me looks like me being on my deathbed and being ready for death. And being grateful for the life I lived. You know? And believing that the people I'm leaving behind will be able to take care of themselves. Complete detachment. Gratitude for the life I lived and ready for the next plane. Emptiness. I want to shoot for emptiness. Right? I want to be energy. That's success. Which point in success do you want me to talk about? You know what I mean? Right. Because success is so deep.
It's in everything, yeah. It's in everything, in every little thing.
Right. Success could be your perspective.
It is. You're
successful because the fact that you can have a specific perspective of a situation and maintain it can determine success. Winning, you know, getting however much money, being in whatever lower middle class.
I was gonna tell you, like, I believe that success is a concept that can be subjective, but I really like yours. You know, like,
and it's not mine. Because that's another thing I don't want to take.
Right,
you say yours.
Right.
You know, I'm nothing original. You know what I mean? Like, I have to like put my hands up and just surrender. Like, I'm nothing original. Like, what I'm saying right now is a collection of things that I've read, conversations that I've had, and agreements that I've decided to take on and be like, okay, these are my values. You know, and it's not even like I'm not even gonna pretend like my values is something I've had my entire life, at least consciously. You know. Because it was just almost a year ago when I was sitting down with, you know, a friend of mine very close to me, Carlos ZARRAGA. You know, he's gotten me a lot of jobs before in times when I didn't have a job. You know, he always looked out for me and you know, great friend, a great network, you know, someone that really cares about the people that are around him. And he was doing some work with me and he said, visualize your values as each value that you decided is a value of yours is a room in a house, okay? And measure how much you're keeping up with these values that you have in your mind, like what you determine to be values. And just imagine that if you're not keeping up with one set of values, just one thing that you know, one of the values that you decide is a value, your whole house could burn down. It just takes one room to burn down an entire house, right? Let's say you have somebody, you know, let's say for example, I say one of my values is I'm gonna allow all the people that are around me to be able to live their lives as they like it, be able to openly express it to me. You know, I'm talking about I can have a best friend that's gay, I can have a best friend that's straight, I can have a best friend that is a trans, I can have a best friend that is a neo-Nazi, I can have a best friend that's a socialist, I can have a best friend that's throw anything at me, right? And one of my values is this person has their freedom, like they are. Of course, I'm not gonna hang out with a serial killer.
But that I think is because there is other interests in play. But
Right. Unless you need that friend. You're like, yo, in case you need to be, I got it. I understand that.
Yeah.
But that's the friend you treat good. That's the friend. That's the friend.
Yeah.
You memorize their birth. You make sure you have a birthday present for them. Because it's like when they come storming in with their whatever, and then they look at you in the corner, they're like, "You got me that chocolate that one time." You're like, "Yo, I got you. Please don't kill me."
So I got one of the other questions is related to what you were telling me about the little things of your concept of success.
Right.
So it's related to how success is in everything, in every little thing and situation. And it just reminded me of something that I wanted to tell you about the human evolution. So what do you think is the next step of human evolution? Do you think it's towards more technological or spiritual? Or both?
Right. I'm glad you introduced that one, both. Right. Exactly.
So,
yeah. I mean, was that a coincidence? Right? Is that the answer that you need right there? Like, is that the answer you need right there? Alright, let me sit with that 1 second. That's pretty deep.
There's a question there's something that a quote that I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It refers a little bit, I'm backtracking a little bit to what you were saying earlier, but there is a quote that says, I don't remember if it was Rousseau. No, it was Voltaire, I think that's the one. He said, I do not agree with your idea. I do not agree with what you're saying, but I'll defend to death your right to say it.
Great. And where was he when he said that?
I'm not sure.
Because like, I'll defend your right. You know, I think and that's interesting to even ask that question, right? Like, let's say we share, and I'm not gonna pretend like I'm teaching you something right now because it's coming to me right now. You understand? Like sometimes we can be having a conversation and we're just channeling things, you know, and you can be speaking and then you're actually learning as you're speaking.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
How does that?
You could just be saying something you've read before that you never really entirely were able to grasp.
Yeah.
And in the moment in which you're saying it, you're confirming it, and it becomes something like an epiphany.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So, you know, defend, for example. Let's because that word struck me. What does that mean?
Defend?
Yeah. Like, where do you have to be to defend?
That's a really interesting question.
You know? Because I hear the word defend, and I think of an emotion that we aspire for, that maybe isn't entirely healthy sometimes. Right? I think the smarter, I'm not gonna say the smarter, the wiser we become, maybe the more we avoid that. You know? Think about there's this in psychology, and my psychologist was teaching me this concept that's called the victim triangle. I think I even drew it in this notebook. Right here. So in the victim triangle, you have the victim who's a victim because of the persecutor. That's what it means to, like, you can't. Where do you have to be in order to defend?
Right. Actually,
so the victim is the one that has to defend, and at that point the rescuer comes in. And the relationship of the rescuer and the victim is gonna be supported by the persecutor. How many times have we lived out the story in which there's a damsel in distress with a crappy boyfriend who mistreats her and doesn't trust her? Meanwhile, she's talking to us, which is the reason why her boyfriend doesn't trust her. And her talking to us is justified by something that he does to her that she doesn't like and cannot confront him about. And so talking to us is the rebellion, right? Ladies and gentlemen, we're stepping into the victim triangle. And we feel so important. Like every time that she says, you're so much better than him. You put on a crown and you pop your chest and you're like, you're the man, right? Then it's not a triangle anymore. Now it's just 2 points. But the thirst for the victim triangle is going to be born again. So either one of the two is going to create that same story, but this time with the rescuer turning into the persecutor.
Right.
And it's like every relationship that follows.
Infinite loop,
but just this bullshit happening over and over again unconsciously.
What if we, like, in the future, we're super technological and just mixed with androids and stuff, right?
Right.
And they give you the opportunity to live as a conscious mind in a digital space. Let's say in a computer, in a virtual reality, without your body.
I think Einstein would like it.
Would you agree to live like that?
To live without the body?
Yeah, like as a digital consciousness?
I think what's interesting about that is that the biggest issue with, you think about business, and when you're working with natural resources, production, scarcity, right? So I think if you're talking about digital space, you eliminate scarcity.
Okay.
Because whatever you can do with a program mostly has to do with how much space you have to do it.
Yeah, of course.
And space can be produced and supported. We're talking about the matrix here.
Yeah. Just get rid of the body.
I think that's been being done for a really long time, honestly. Like, you have the 6 yogas of NAROPA, right? These practices that are designed to prepare us for a moment of death, right? Because you have the Tibetan Book of the Dead. You're in this Bardo Thoto state for 49 days after you die. You're confronted by various deities, right? That are projections or archetypes of characteristics, behaviors, decisions, and things that you did while you were awake, and now you're in this open space. You have a memory of your body, right? And that conscious part of yourself that probably hasn't accepted the fact that you're dead yet is what's holding on to that digital body, right? I think it's kind of the same thing, because I mean, it's a tool. It's funny because this is the answer, and the tool these monks work. One of them, for example, is becoming lucid while you sleep at night. Because think about your dreams. Your dreams are a perfect representation of what a digital space would be, because you're detached from your body. Your body's in a state of paralysis. You have these chemicals being released in your brain, and you're hallucinating, and your eyes are moving really fast because you're in an REM state, and there's light that's coming in to your eyes and creating this projection. And since you are completely detached from your body, from the state of paralysis, you're fully engaged in this dream. Now, what the monks do is they work on becoming conscious in this. That's what's called lucidity. You become lucid in the dreams to be able to eliminate the dreams and just have clear light.
Yeah.
Because once they can eliminate the dreams, they've eliminated their attachments, right? And they lay in that clear light, because that clear light is that open space, right?
I see the similarity with the technological advancements.
Yeah,
we like probably we're already there, but we don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's already been being worked on.
What do you think about aliens and alien life out there? Do you think they're aware of us, or what do you think about it?
I think aliens can exist outside and inside, right? I think there's a universe that exists outside and there's a universe that exists inside. And to connect the two questions, you know, because those two questions are connected.
Yeah.
We're talking about an internal world and external world. A digital world would be an internal world. I mean, what would it be? How do you detach a conscious state from the body?
I mean, that's interesting, because there's I mean, what reality is made of is essentially all the signals that we perceive from our senses. You know, some theories. So if that's true, then it would have to be, you know, some sort of function that the brain does to generate, you know, this kind of thing. I don't know if you can get rid of the whole body, like maybe you'll still need the brain, but you know, it's just an interesting thought. Plus, it's a distant future.
Right.
What happened? Just checking the phone. Don't be wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you like? How would you put the concept in your words of infinity? Infinite.
Infinite.
You can't define it. Just...
That's the thing. The description doesn't exist.
The description doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
the answer I was looking for.
It wasn't until I woke up from a coma where I experienced
For real?
emptiness.
For real though?
I woke up, coma for 2 weeks. I wake up from a coma and I'm like, I understand emptiness. But before I stepped into the coma, we say the word emptiness so lightly. You say the word nothing so lightly. You say the word nothing, but nothing does not exist. Show me nothing right now. Can you show me nothing?
Black hole?
What does nothing look like?
Like a black hole.
Okay, you tell me black hole so confidently right now that you're like, oh yeah, a black hole, because I read it in the science book. Show it to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yeah, you're right. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like that's a theory or it's proven or whatever it is, but show it to me. You know? So I don't even remember what the question is.
The infinite. I like the answer.
Right. Infinite.
I like the answer. What inspires you? Where do you get your inspiration? Inspiration from? What do you think is like your source or?
Falling for a girl.
Falling for a girl?
Yeah.
Nice.
If I have someone to be intimate with and it feels real, I'm gonna create like the best art. You know? If I can feel confident in the relationship that I have, I'm gonna be grounded. And if I'm in a crappy situation, I'm still gonna be, you know, still be able to create the art. But the work is gonna be, you know, it's gonna be expressed differently, you know? Because I like to write songs about things that are really happening. I like to be true in them, you know, really like express like what's, you know, this exactly what we talked about in the beginning.
It's really honest.
Yeah, I want it to be really honest. So I like where I go artistically when I feel love. You know?
Nice.
And I don't think it's limited to a partner. But let's say, for example, right now I'm gonna do an open heart meditation, right? I need a trigger. I need to start with someone that makes me feel my heart. You know what I mean? Someone that gives me butterflies, right? This person suddenly produces an emotion in me that now I can turn into something greater. So now the following step after I think about that person is I focus on the physiological or the physical sensation, right? I feel something. Like, what does it feel like? Okay, I feel tension right here. I feel like a release or whatever it may be. And then once I'm just connected to that feeling again, I let that person go in my mind and I focus on just the sensation, like the physical sensation. Then I think about someone that I consider to be an enemy. I think she's here.
So, bro, I was gonna ask you about reality. How can you define reality? What's reality?
That thing, you know?
I guess.
Reality's that thing. Like, okay, so reality is this. You have senses, and they come together to create this one observation at the same time, constantly, like really fast, right? Like you think about when you're dreaming at night, right? You're in the lucid, you're not, your eyes are moving really fast, right? Rapid eye movement. So you're in the REM state, and that's like coming in and creating this reality that because you're detached from your body, you're able to fully experience as a real reality. When you're dreaming, you think it's reality, but it is reality. Right? And so this moment, like I can't really prove to you that what I'm seeing in front of me looks the same to me as what you're seeing. Right? You have that thing on they put on Facebook where it's like, is the sweater gold or is it blue?
Yeah.
I heard there was a drive-by because of dispute between two people over that.
Yeah.
Right, like how serious are people gonna take that? You know, you're gonna fight over the fact that your reality is, and why would I even talk about fighting? Right? And that's just to say reality is whatever it is. You know, that goes back to what we're talking about, like someone needing to defend something, like that's an option. If you're gonna defend something, if it's gonna make your heart feel good, if it's gonna make you feel like you're fitting in, you know? Because in the same way that a cockroach values its life as much as we do ours, and we're justified in killing it because it's ugly in a house, that reality, for example, that would be like someone is affecting something, like you're affecting something. However you want to affect the things around you would determine like what your reality is, from thought to action. You know what I mean? Reality is thoughts and actions.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. That's an interesting answer.
That's good.
I didn't know I was gonna answer it like that.
I have one. I know, but I saw you like getting there.
Yeah.
Like the whole concepts. That was good.
I think that's actually a really interesting definition of it.
Thought and action. We should probably like trademark that. Maybe make some t-shirt, take a thought and actions.
Yo, that's what's up.
Probably just make a movement.
Actually.
It's like the name of the band.
Thoughttion.
No.
Yeah.
Or not.
What about thought shin? so you like maximize on the word thought. You could hashtag that. Every single music video is like a girl touch.
I was gonna ask you something related to that one, about existence. What's your purpose in existence?
To exist.
To exist.
Yeah.
What is existence?
I can't answer.
The purpose of existence.
That's like someone asking me, what does my inside look like? Like, what do I look from the inside? I'm looking.
Right. No. What is it? But the purpose of it.
I can't answer.
What do you think it is? You can't.
Like.
Why?
Because if I answer it, I'm just gonna say something I read. I'm gonna say something unoriginal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be lying to you if I tell you. So you're telling me
it's way complex, more complex than that, than whatever you.
Oh yeah. Like I could train to have. Right now, I could train to be like visualize my life and have all this shit put together. And at the end of the day, if I'm just open to whatever the universe is gonna give me, God can have a bigger plan. You know what I mean? Like, I can have a definition of what the perfect girl is by my limited mindset, and instead open up to like full potential. And in 1 year, God's like, yo, this is what you deserve. You're like, what the fuck? Like, how can I even begin to feel that I could tell you what, like, perfect? I think if I'm gonna like give you a simple answer, I really like thinking that.
No, that's a good answer.
Right.
What you just said.
I was having a conversation with Madeline yesterday, and we were talking about Jesus, right? And in a non-religious way, like just like, you know what I mean? We were just talking about Jesus, right? And
This dude,
this homeless dude. And we were really talking about looking at it more like a revolution of its time as opposed to something religious that I like. If you ask me, it's like, is my heart open? Like, will I surrender to Jesus? I'm like, that's a stupid question. It doesn't make a fucking difference. I was with an Uber driver the other day, and he's like, yeah, but do you believe in God? And I said, look, you have two people. You have someone who lives in the forest, has no concept of God, just understands the plants that are around them, right? And then you have someone who's been brought up with Christianity in our society, right, that does more damage to society, but is justified with that emotional sense of redemption and being able to have a concept of God to ask for forgiveness and be forgiven, which is like an internal psychological process. And then you have this person that has no concept of God and is doing great things for the world around them. And the moment of death comes, and if we do live out this whole process of you go to heaven or hell, who's going to heaven? Like, what's really important? What we do with the people and the nature around us. So, purpose? I think purpose can change based on our technology. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's think about what, what's happening, what are the current events, like what's happening around us that can play a part in answering what the purpose is. I think purpose can change second to second. I know what my purpose is right now for the next 30 minutes. But like sometimes, let's say like, when I explored like this internal work, and I sat on a couple grandmother ceremonies, like I had this I remember I had this one journey where I realized I was like, I know my purpose. It was like, and I heard like like the Lion King. It was crazy. I was like, I understand. And you know what it was? To reproduce. That's it.
And that was up.
That was it. Like it was like there was like reproduce and keep the human race alive. Purpose. Yeah. That's the answer. Reproduction.
I fell with that one. I like that one. What do you think is the most important thing in life?
What's the most important thing in life? Life.
Life?
Yeah.
That's the best answer I've heard
It is.
so far.
That's the
That's the
answer.
best answer I've heard.
Oh, we're pretty much done with the
Let's
questions.
open up a discussion because we got a
I have one more section here where I want to tell you one word. I have like 14 words.
Oh, great.
So-
Tell me about 14.
I want you to come up with like whatever is crossing your mind when I say the
Public
word.
psychotherapy with the cameras on and on Facebook Live. Thank God there's no viewers right now. You want me to be really honest?
What's up?
All right, let's do it.
Definitely. So the first one, you just try to be as quick as possible. Self-mastery,
Me,
success,
life,
psychedelia.
psychedelia, fun. But wait, do I give you like one word answers or?
Yeah. If you want to, you can expand, but I like the one word. Darkness.
Like. Oh wait, no, but I can't. That's stupid. Let me just actually like darkness is so important to me. Darkness is so. I'm gonna like get into this one because like
Step on the brakes.
yeah, just hit the brakes really fast because I think like I've like constantly misunderstood with this concept of like what I imagine darkness to be, right? So in the same way that you need silence for music, you need darkness for light. You know what I mean? Like imagine you fill up a room with 16 televisions, you turn them on, and then you hand me this acoustic guitar and you ask me to write a song. It's not gonna happen because I need silence, you know? And the word darkness for me does not have a negative connotation to it. The word darkness can also be emptiness, right? The word darkness can be shamatha, right? Like the first point that I can have of feeling the world around me, right? So yeah, next word.
Light.
Light, heat. I think about light and I think about heat. What's the word? I don't know. I just felt something. I felt heat when you said
Got
light. I think it's good.
I like that. Sex.
Yes.
Love.
Sex. Look, sex. I have this song that I wrote recently, and it goes, when making love is real for you, making love is a prayer for two. Making love all afternoon. It's like sex is, if treated right, is really like an opportunity to connect with God, right? Because like you're affecting your senses, like you know what I mean? You can, depending on how much you go into it, you know, or how subtle you want to be, you know. I think we're not really like, sex is something we're so not taught about. There's areas of it that we could be enjoying and we could really grow from that it's not even a concept for us. You know what I mean? Like you have like, what are your concepts, you know, for our generation, what are our concepts to build up an idea about what sex is? Porno? You know what I mean? So, you know, if I talk about tantric, you know, and be like, what is that? Is that a Pokemon? You know, but it's funny, but there's like so many, like you think about the science behind it. You say like pheromones, for example, like a girl's hot. Like, what do you think about smelling her? Like smelling her neck or smelling her arm? And why would you do that? Right? Like depending on how smart or how much wisdom you have on the topic, like you can really, it can become a way of experience, like going into that virtual reality. Going into that lucid state, seeing colors that don't exist, you know, like expanding your mind. Like you have Chakra Sambhara, right, which is the deity that this center is named after. Was she? I don't remember what the name of the bodhisattva was, Oh man, Colin's gonna see this video. They're gonna test me on this later. They're gonna be like, he doesn't know his shit. But basically, this deity helped him through the act, and we'll look at the painting later, to reach enlightenment. So that's, you know,
Great.
sex.
Sounds great. The next word, Kundalini.
Kundalini, heat. Yeah, Kundalini is heat. Kundalini is snake. You have the Kundalini travels from the bottom of the body. Kundalini is great. Kundalini is the only yoga that I've done that has allowed me to leave my body while I was doing it on fire breathing. Fire breathing is the best for me.
But how is that? What is it? Can you expand that? Explain
When you, like, what is what?
the breathing.
Fire breathing.
So fire breathing is like you breathe rapidly. Right, like let's say I sit up straight. Then I breathe in and I hold it, and then I close my eyes and I look up to what would be the 10th gate, or I look up here. So right.
Right.
So there was this one Kundalini class that I sat in. I remember with it was, I forgot the name of the center. It was Unity on the Bay, and there was like these two instructors, and they were cool. And I also was constantly hanging out with this Kundalini instructor. That's why I was like introduced to it. But I literally left my body. Like I reached a point in which I couldn't do any more of it, and my body was just telling me, you can't. Like we literally had done like this fire breathing in sets for like about 30 minutes. And then I just remember continuing to do the breaths, forcing my body to do the breaths, and then just feeling this like complete like separation from my body. And I just remember being this conscious energy traveling through the room and becoming things in the room with my eyes closed. Like I was like this, like I don't know, it was weird. Like, or I was still breathing, so I was actually sitting up, and I was just completely detached, like, and becoming the form. Like this is what it feels like to be a chair. This is what it feels like to be a table. You know,
It's great. Get a couple more.
Probably like 10 more.
Like five-ish, 6. Love.
Like that's the same. That would be the same as you asking me about life. You know what I mean? Like love. Love is a lot of things, right?
What's the first thing that you think about when I say love?
I think about love as being like it's life. Life. That's why I said life is like the first word that I think about.
Death. Shit back. Life.
Oh, wait. Yeah, let's focus on life for a little bit. So love is life, right? Love, I think, what I like the most about love, the concept of love. Like if I speak about love, assuming that it's not everything, I'm limiting my perspective of love. Right? So you say love, and I say it's life. But if you ask me to talk about love and I describe it as something that I experience with, and I'm in a relationship, right? That's like a fraction of what like love is. Like love is the air. Love is the fact that there's air for us to breathe, because it's something we need. Like throw your ass to the moon right now and ask you to survive, you're not gonna survive. There's no love. You know what I mean? Like love is the fact that the nature around us is designed to support our existence and destroy us the fuck when it's like our time. You know what I mean? Like, so I think if I were to talk about love, I'd be stepping away from what it really is, and I would only be able to have a dualistic perspective on it.
If love is everything.
Okay.
You will go through this last
So you want to talk about hate before we talk about
That's fine if you want to.
before we talk about death?
If you want to. I don't have it here, but if you want to, yeah.
I think hate is a great opportunity for compassion, you know?
Yeah.
So in the same way that you would need fear in order to be able to have courage, because you can't just be in a comfortable situation and be all happy and be like whatever and then like I feel courage. You know what I mean? Like you need to be like with your girlfriend and you're just trying to have a good time. Something like this pushes you, right? And then you stand up for yourself. Like that was a trigger for courage, like your fear or whatever it was, right? Or courage would be you being challenged and you standing up for yourself. Maybe you're talking to somebody and you're standing up for yourself. You're standing up for your rights, right? So I'd say if you can feel hatred in your heart and you can accept that fact, right? And you just look at it, like just study it. Just look at it. It's like, this is hate. Wow, look at it. And you're looking at it. And then you realize it's a really ugly emotion. My friend, you just opened up a huge door for compassion. Because you can't be naive. You can't be naive and feel these, you know what I mean? Like you can't feel these emotions where you genuinely don't want to hurt someone because you know what pain feels like. Meet Christy from Kentucky right now and talk to her after you have to deal with immigration and all the shit, all the separation or all, you know, whatever, and talk about understanding your emotions. Like it's just like day and night, you know? Like there's a lot of negative emotions that are an amazing tool for us to be able to have a higher level of understanding. Because it's not until you really fight someone and you see how much you can hurt someone that you realize you don't really want to hurt anybody. Right? That's why people who are really trained in like MMA, right? It's like this thing's hyping up, everybody beat the shit out of each other, but like, you know, when judo was created or jiu-jitsu was created, they were created with philosophies. You know? There was this moral to it where it's like you're understanding you can hurt somebody, like you can kill somebody with your hands. So, you know, so respect that. The more powerful you know, the more you should respect how much power you have. You know, and in that same way, with these negative emotions that we're gonna experience, I don't think the answer is looking at them and being like, oh, let me think positive thoughts. You're like throwing aside this thing that's gonna just like burn itself out, and it's gonna be that fire in the house is gonna burn your entire house down. It's just one room of one thing that you're not looking at, right? Such an opportunity. You know, like
Yeah, I like that.
yeah. I was like, let's go to the next question.
I was just looking at values because you were talking about it before. So I was just looking at values as an empty room that it hasn't been taken care of.
Right.
Like as an opportunity.
Exactly. You know? So we go back to values. Every value that you have is a room in the house. You're measuring it. If you're not taking care of a room and it burns down, it's going to burn down one room. It just takes one room to burn the entire house down. Right? So you're not paying attention to your emotional state because you want to live out this like fantasy about, but I've seen people lose their fucking minds. Lose their minds and turn everyone around them into their enemy that only sees negative things because they can't support their positive thoughts. The biggest bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Balanced thoughts. That's wholeness. Being able to sit with your light and your darkness and just hold them right there in their place and treat everybody with love and compassion.
Yeah.
That's mastery.
I'm gonna show you the next one. Freedom.
Freedom. So that's interesting because I was recently talking with someone about freedom, and I really enjoyed what their definition of it was. And they said freedom is not relying on your emotional, like your emotions. Freedom is not relying on your emotions right now to determine the decision you're gonna make at this moment. So let's say, for example, I'm a cashier, right? And I'm angry because of the customer they came before and they told me 2 or 3 things or whatever, and the next customer comes up. Does it matter? Like, this next customer comes up to me right now. Is this customer supposed to care about what happened to me and this last customer that was?
So could it be mental, please, or?
Like my actions with the people around me is one thing, and my goal is for that to be concrete.
Okay.
Right? Like, that's a skill to treat the people around us, you know what I mean, in a balanced way, and just have empathy, understand what people are feeling. Some, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like people could be like, "Oh, you're psychic," and it's like, no, I'm just paying attention, right? Like, it's just a matter of like paying attention to all the details and knowing what details to pay attention to. I don't remember the question.
I just said freedom.
Right. So not being bound by my emotional state right now, right? So the last customer treated me like crap, but I have the freedom to treat this customer that's coming up right now like a brand new. That's my freedom.
Love that.
You know what I mean? Hey, how are we doing today? Okay. And that's it. Like, that's freedom. Because you think that, and then we go back to the question, like, what is failure? Right? Someone who does not have freedom cannot look at failure as one step closer to success.
Right.
Right? Because it's not about freedom. It's about being locked up in these stupid thoughts that work against us, and we're all subject to them. I'm not trying to sound like I mastered something. I didn't master shit. You know what I mean? Like, maybe 70% of the things I'm talking about are things I struggle, but they're still they're there. You know what I mean? Like, there's a goal.
You're aware.
I mean, thank you. You know, like.